It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 245 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens! We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too, don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly, and what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
I think we're brewing a little bit of native pecan.
Yeah, because it's so good. Now, we have a code, CWTCL 15 for 15% off a bagged coffee. Where should everybody go to get this great coffee?
brightandearlycoffee.com.
And if you need K-Cups, get those on Amazon. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubbly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubbly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubbly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubbly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubbly Farms, use the link grubbly.co/coffee. Try it today. Oakley dokley. How are you doing today?
Doing all right. Yourself?
Hanging. Hanging.
Okay.
As for recording, I'm trying to somewhat keep a third eye, if I had one, on Rocky the puppy to figure out where he is. Yeah, he's 7 months old and into everything.
He's like a toddler over there. He really is.
Yeah, the story is we were working the other day, a few weeks ago, and I'm like, we're about to end on our work session, and I was like, I hear something. Okay, I'll let you go by. Walked into the pantry, and the dog had an entire bag of powdered sugar that he had chewed into. And it was all over his face, in his nostrils. He takes advantage of when we're working and to get into stuff all the time.
Yeah. He's a busy guy, man. You really can't have your eyes off of him for any amount of time.
No, he also managed to get a onion soup mix from the pantry and chew into that. And then for 2 days, he had onion breath. It was not good.
Oh, man.
Not good.
Good heavens.
He's River Jr.
Yeah, although River would have had it all over the kitchen. River does things spectacularly.
Oh, he was just having a blast eating the stuff that he's not supposed to eat. Oh my God. It's crazy. Okay. So what's going on your end over there?
I'm just counting down until fall. I'm not one to wish away seasons and everything, but I've had it with the summer. My birds have had it with this summer. My sheep have had it with this summer. It's been rough.
How about your ducks?
Ducks are pretty happy. Ducks are going out in the run during the day. We finished the big goose run. So the ducks are now going out in the run during the day, but it's been too hot for me to let them sleep in the coop overnight. So they're still sleeping in their pop-up in the garage.
So are they taking to the baby pool yet or no?
No. Nope.
Oh, man.
There's a variety of dishes and buckets that they'll splash in, but I think I need to bury something. I really do want to make them a pond, so I need to bury something and let them do it the natural way, I guess.
That should be fun.
Yes, they really are. They're just as relaxing as chickens, but in a different way because they have different personalities.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm sure they're fun to watch in the water. We have a few videos up on our socials of them in the big bowls that they love to get in.
Hilarious. So you know this. I trained my geese so that I can herd them with bamboo poles, which is the way that in Java, runner ducks were traditionally herded with bamboo poles. You don't hit your duck. You don't touch your duck. You just use them to make your arms look super long.
Go gadget arms.
Pretty much. And you're kind of directing them. But I decided I was going to train the ducks the same way just because if I'm out there on the acreage with those ducks and they don't want to come in, I can grab the poles and herd them easily. So far they've been super easy to train.
Do you have a sweater that can fit your arms when you're holding those?
Why? I just want to make it look like I have arms that are 10 feet long. The answer to that is no.
Here's Holly Ann. She is the woman with the longest arms in the world.
My arms are 6 feet long. I need extra yarn when I knit a sweater.
I can't reach anything on my body, but I can reach something.
I can't wash my hair.
But I can reach something 6 feet in front of me.
Herd my ducks.
And on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. It does really, really good things for the growth of our show. It's a free way to help us. So if you go over there, just type a few kind words, we would love it. And hit that subscribe button because they count them.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the show, you can tell a few chicken, duck, or goose-loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. Thank you to our patrons. And the other thing you can do to help support the show is visit our website, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay! You know what I love when it's 95 degrees outside?
Being inside.
Well, that too, but I really love cleaning my igloo chicken coop.
Yeah, it is so easy to clean. You don't have to break a sweat.
And you can use a water hose or pressure washer, so it doubles as a cool down. I also love those run covers.
Oh man, the shade is superb. I go into the run to cool off.
Yep, my flock's covered during the heat of the day, just chilling.
Meanwhile, we're melting on the patio. Seriously, can we get in on this amazing coop design for ourselves?
They're out there living the dream.
So when it's pushing 100 degrees, the right setup matters.
That's why we choose an igloo.
Get your girls their own just in time for summer.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tee, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. Quack, 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 quacka, 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 quack, quack. Breed Spotlight, yeah.
Quack.
Yeah. We've already said it, but this week we're doing
the Ancona Duck.
The Ancona. And I couldn't say it a few minutes ago. I was like, what the heck? Why can't I say Ancona?
I don't know. You were really struggling with it. I'm not sure.
My tongue wouldn't work. I don't know why.
The gorgeous Ancona duck shares its name with the gorgeous Ancona chicken, but only one of these is actually a Mediterranean breed. Do you know which one?
The chicken.
Excellent. The Ancona duck is a medium-sized bird that resembles the magpie, but where the magpie has solid patches, the Ancona has spots and speckles. The Ancona duck is not APA accepted, though they are a heritage breed, and they are currently listed in the watch category of the Livestock Conservancy's Conservation Priority List.
So if you want to show, this isn't really a duck to get to show. You're not going to be able to show them.
Unless you wanted to go through all the work to get them onto shows, and petition for the APA to accept their standard of perfection.
You could have a show in your own backyard and say, come see the Ancona duck.
I think if you're trying to do it for the APA, you need to have a sanctioned show.
Hey, listen, you don't want to do it for the APA. You just do it for yourself.
Okay.
And say, neighbors, come one, come all, and see the Ancona
duck.
Duck goose.
Despite its name, the Ancona is an American duck, and they've been in existence for a little over 100 years.
Not long, really. That's not that long.
A lot of duck breeds are like 100, 150 years. Yeah.
They're newer. They're the newer poultry.
They are, yeah. For quite a while there, the Ancona was believed to have been developed in Great Britain, but there is no evidence to support this claim. I think people are making the assumption that because they're so similar to the magpie in some ways, that, you know, they're just a derivative of the magpie. And of course, that happened in Wales. But again, no evidence. But there is evidence in the US, though. So someone at some point went through some old poultry journals printed in the early 20th century. And I can tell you from personal experience that there's a lot of good info in those journals if you take the time to look through. So anyway, there was an article in the 1913 edition of the Waterfowl Club of America yearbook, and it mentions a duck of the same name, Ancona, being developed by W.J. Wirt of Knowlesville, New York. Because of the black speckling on the duck, he had named it after the spangled or mottled Ancona chicken. There are also some later mentions of Ancona ducks being shown and winning first place at a poultry show in Boston in 1915.
Not APA.
No, not APA, obviously. But that's pretty solid evidence. I mean, here's someone who is breeding an Ancona duck, and then there's Ancona ducks, you know, in 1915 winning a prize at this poultry show.
What prize did they win?
First place.
What'd they get for first place?
How the heck am I supposed to know that? They got a ribbon. I don't know.
Come on. You need to know what the prize is. And they write this in the yearbook where they holding like a ribbon, a box, like a gold.
Yeah, I don't know.
A glass.
I don't know. No, I really don't know. The Ancona has not been accepted by the British Poultry Club, nor is it listed by the Rare Breed Survival Trust in the UK. I mean, I think all the evidence points that this is an American duck.
They're on the outs, man. They're not in anything.
Well, no, because they never were there, right? So they're not really on the outs. They're just, let's say they're very slowly building.
Okay, so these are medium-weighted breed duck. Medium weights. Most coming in at about 5 to 7 pounds, which is pretty good size for a duck, actually. They're black and
medium class duck, yeah.
Yeah, they're black and white with irregular black spots and speckles on a white background. Though rare, you can also find them in other color varieties. It's blue and white,
chocolate and white,
silver and white,
and lavender and white.
Those are some nice colors there.
Yeah, very nice, yeah.
Now, the Ancona's bill is yellow, spotted with black or dark green, and the legs and feet are orange, which is awesome for ducks, marked with black or brown. So they sound like a really cute little duck.
They are really cute little ducks. Like, if you asked me if this was a duck I would put in my flock, what do you think I would say?
No. Okay, so like many of the domestic duck breeds, Anconas are very good layers. Ducks tend to be really good layers, which some people don't realize or know, or maybe they're just starting to realize this.
Right.
They'll give you anywhere from 220 to 280 large eggs per year. That's awesome.
That's great. Yep.
I mean, if you want a lot of eggs that are good for baking, this little duck should enter your flock. And Holly Ann bakes a lot, so yeah, you need this.
It'll be interesting to see because, you know, I hold the goose egg up as the gold standard for baking.
Yeah,
so it's interesting to see if I like the goose or the duck eggs better.
Yeah, so the eggs can be white, cream, or blue-green in color. So when you get ducks, it's kind of like that grab bag. You don't know what you're going to get in egg color until they lay the eggs, and then they tend to lay the same color eggs. Sometimes the eggs are speckled. That's a good one when you get speckled eggs. And the Ancona duck hens will go broody. Ducks tend to go broody. So if you want to hatch some chicks or some ducklings, the Ancona will take care of that for you.
This is a nice all-purpose duck. And like you said, they'll hatch a clutch. So if you're trying to be off-grid, they'd be a great choice for a small farm or a homestead since they're dual purpose. But they're also a great addition to a backyard flock. I mean, they're beautiful. And especially if you want good layers. They're going to give you eggs. Yeah.
They need some conservation help maybe someone wants to take on the work of getting them APA accepted, because I made those jokes about it. But hey, it would be great if they were APA accepted.
Right.
Someone's going to have to take on that work of getting the standards to a certain point of the breed that they would be accepted. Now, the Anconas are very good foragers, but also have a calm personality and tend to be very quiet ducks. So this might be a good if you're in more of a suburban neighborhood and you want, a little more of a quiet duck.
If your neighbors are complaining about your call ducks that never stop quacking, maybe Anconas could be a good replacement.
They do well in both hot and cold weather.
Yeah, I mean, in hot weather, obviously, they can cool off in water. Cold weather, they have all that duck down and, they're pretty thermal. They're also great foragers and really good garden helpers. So I think a lot of people forget that ducks can do all these different jobs.
Yeah, they're great. So the $1 million question is, where can everybody find the Ancona duck?
It just so happens that Cackle Hatchery has Ancona ducks.
This is our second week in a row that Cackle has the bird that we're talking about.
Yeah. There are some smaller farms dotted around the country that breed them as well. I've heard various reports that they're occasionally spotted at TSC.
Okay.
I would be sorely tempted if I saw them at TSC.
Yeah. I'd be like, Holly, I would get this call. I got feed and some ducklings today. I'd be like, oh.
It could happen.
I'm not surprised.
Nah.
So if you have the Ancona duck, send us some pictures and a story on Instagram. Hit the mention button, put our name in, and we'll give you a share.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top-quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit metzerfarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. Hey, backyard chicken lovers! Did you know going corn-free in summer can help your flock stay cool and healthy? Corn creates extra body heat, and when temps rise, that's the last thing your girls need.
That's why we love My Girls chicken treats. They're packed with healthy proteins, vitamins, and absolutely no corn or soy. Just wholesome, crave-worthy ingredients your chickens will go wild for. So skip the corn, beat the heat, and treat your girls like the queens that they are.
Love My Girls treats. Available online or at a retailer near you. You ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
For our main topic this week, we are thrilled to be joined, and I think this is like her 5th or 6th visit on the show. Lisa Steele is joining us. Lisa is the original chicken blogger. She's got tons of excellent content out there on social media. Lisa has written 6 poultry keeping books, 1 cookbook with another cookbook on the way. Lisa, welcome back. It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me. It is always a blast.
Hey, welcome back, Lisa. How are you doing?
Doing good. Hanging in there. It's been a hot summer, but so far so good.
We keep saying it's the time of 3-4 showers a day and 3-4 wardrobe changes, but hey, wouldn't change it for the world and all the good things. I want to start off because what we want to discuss is homesteading and how to start, because there are a lot of people out there thinking, I want to do this, and they see all these neat reels and they just don't know how to go about it. And my first question for you is, what inspired you to start where you are on a homesteading journey? Now, you started in Virginia, but we're going to fast forward to Maine and say, what inspired you to get your home going there, the property, and start your homesteading journey in Maine?
Well, honestly, it is a lot easier to keep animals of all kinds in cold climates than in hot climates. It was a real challenge in Virginia to keep them cool. We had fans going and ice blocks, and it was just really crazy. I was always worried about heat exhaustion. So, I mean, for ourselves, because we don't like the heat, but also for the animals, it just is much, much easier to keep them in cold climates. So that was one consideration. And then also the fact that up here, nobody really cares what you do. Like there's no limits on what you have or how many, or if you have a rooster or whatever, so we didn't really want anyone telling us, what to do and having to worry if there were limits, so it's worked out really well. I specifically did not want a property with a pond, even though we have ducks and now we have geese as well. It seems like you'd want a pond with waterfowl, but avian flu becomes a huge issue because you've got wild birds that might be using that pond, and also trying to get them off of it at night where they're going to be super vulnerable to owls and fox and, whatever. So sometimes what you think logically what might make sense is something that you really don't want. I want to control their water a little bit better, and a kiddie pool works just fine. So.
I would think the same thing, to be honest with you. I would go, I don't want a pond, because knowing everything right now with avian flu, and also, like you said, trying to get them off to get them in bed at night, that would be terrible.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen, and you would just lose them all. It just,
I couldn't sleep.
No, and domestic ducks really are not, for the most part, diving ducks. They're more dabbling ducks, which means they like to hang out at the shore and just kind of drill down into the mud for worms and bugs and things. And they can do that in a mud puddle with a kiddie pool or a bucket of water, so I don't feel like you're depriving them. It's more keeping them safe. And, anyone who has kids, you probably don't want a pond on your property because there's a lot of danger involved there. So Maine has turned out to be perfect. We're not too far from the airport. So if I need to go somewhere, and for the most part, the weather is pretty temperate.
And it always looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, you're going to be taking photographs on the great days, but the weather, the geography, everything there just looks gorgeous.
We'll say that you get a lot of snow in this winter, though,
Yeah.
but that's easier sometimes. We have talked about this. Holly and I have gone back and forth on which is worse, heat or cold. And I say the heat is worse constantly than the cold, because I feel like there's more options to help them out. Where
when it's like this, like the devil's oven.
Yeah,
outside.
You can't do anything but fans. That's all you can do.
Exactly. And in the cold, I stack straw bales and we shovel paths for them. And, on a nice day out of the wind, it really is pretty comfortable. Our coop rarely goes below 20 degrees, even when the temperatures go below zero, just using the straw. I give them scratch grains. And they're just much more comfortable. A chicken's much more comfortable in 40 degrees than 80 degrees.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've taken all these things into consideration, geography, weather, laws, local ordinances, all those things, and we really can't strongly suggest enough that you do homework on that, because that can be really bad.
Oh, yes.
If you get the wrong place. Once you have the property straightened out, what are the first steps you take for establishing the homestead itself?
I think it's important when you are choosing a property, you already kind of know what animals you're talking about. Because if you're just talking about chickens and quail and whatever, you can get a small coop, you can build one or buy one. But if you're talking horses or donkeys or sheep, you're probably going to need a barn. And if you have ever looked at how much it costs to build a barn, you are going to want to look for a property that has an existing structure. And maybe in addition to a barn, somewhere that you can store your tractor and your zero-turn lawnmower and all your implements. And you're going to want to look for outbuildings. Outbuildings are really important. We have a barn and 2-car garage, and then we got like a open face kind of shed thing to store like salt in the winter and extra wood. If you have a wood stove, you need wood. Then we did get the coop and the goose house, but those are relatively easy. But if you're thinking large animals, you really want a property that's already set up as a farm. I mean, barns are as expensive as houses.
I think it also is a good idea to think a little bit about your age and your physical ability. Because when I was 20, I could be fencing all day. I could be bringing in hay all day. At 52, That's a no. I've got some in it. Like, if we have a hay delivery, I can stack it, but I'm not building fences anymore. I physically can't do those things anymore. Not the way I used to.
Think too how far the barn is from the house. When we lived in Virginia, our barn was like at the other end of the pasture. Not a problem. We had water down there. When we were looking in Maine and we moved to Maine, it was amazing how many barns are actually attached to the house. There might be a breezeway in between. They're also very close to the road, which kind of made it difficult to find a place because we didn't want to be, right on the road. Yeah. But you think about it, someone doesn't want to have to plow or shovel a 1/4 mile long driveway. The closer you're out of the road, the less shoveling you do. And if the barn is close to the house, you're not trudging out. Like I always think about Little House on the Prairie when they had the rope from the house to the barn when they went to feed the cows because it was a blizzard and you could easily get lost in the blizzard, so you want things to be fairly close. So now, I can practically throw a rock and hit the coop from the house, which is great because it minimizes your shoveling.
I think we could probably sum all that up by saying, think about your infrastructure.
Location,
your physical abilities, but your infrastructure too. That really does matter.
It's like a little community, a little village. Think about how close things are and where you're going to have the hay delivered. And, if a truck can get to where you need it delivered. I have a little storage area in my coop, which is great because I have a little cart. So when I get feed or hay or whatever, scratch grains, I load them up in the cart, bring them right down the coop. They're right there in the, little storage part. So you're not constantly hauling bags back and forth. And,
And here's the thing we've learned throughout that homesteading is kind of a la carte. You can pick what you want, and you don't need you don't need 100, 200, 500 acres. You can do it on 1 acre. You could do it on a half an acre. You kind of deal with what you have, and you can work around those things and do what's most important to you.
Mm-hmm. And what makes the most sense? I'm glad you brought that up because when you first asked me if I wanted to be on, I kind of made notes. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was you don't have to do it all. I am terrible at keeping sourdough alive. I have killed more sourdough starters than you can imagine. So I don't do it anymore. I tried canning. A couple of cans exploded. I don't can anymore. You don't have to feel like you're a failure if you can't do everything. So you work to your strength. I am great at growing garlic. I'm great at growing herbs. If you move to a spot and 6 of your neighbors have chickens, well, maybe you don't need to raise chickens. Maybe instead you want to have a great garden so you can then barter some of your zucchini for eggs. Like I think the barter system is something that really needs to come back full force.
100%. I love that.
It just makes so much sense. When we were in Virginia, we lived across the street from actual corn farmers. And I had a little garden and I was growing corn. And then I was like, why am I growing corn when our neighbors, there's a cornfield right across the street. So we started trading their corn and figs because they had a fig tree for eggs and some of the herbs for my herb garden. So look around and see what people around you, what your friends are doing and do things that are going to complement that. Maybe you want to get bees instead so you can trade honey for eggs. That to me just makes so much more sense.
It's all about building community within the homesteading community so that, what comes to my mind right off is work smarter, not harder.
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody in your neighborhood has this, then go with something else. And like you said, trade it off. That 100% that works.
Because everybody has extras. I've never seen a gardener who doesn't plant a garden that's way too big for them to eat everything that comes out of it. Same with chickens. Everybody has way too many chickens for the number of eggs that they're going to eat.
Yeah.
So you always have extras. And I think that, kind of thinking outside the box and maybe you do want to go with ducks. Maybe your neighbors don't have ducks and you do that instead. I don't think that just because it's something that's trending or you think everybody's doing it, you need to do it. And grow things that you like. For the longest time I grew radishes. I don't even like radishes. They just grow really fast and they're easy. But I was like, why am I growing radishes? We don't even eat them. I don't like them.
I had some of that
about
when
what
I
you're
was
doing.
Really getting into gardening. And I had to say to myself, you never eat these things. That is wasted space. Mostly what we grow here. Well, I have a potato problem because I just like all the different cultivars. So I grow a lot of potatoes. Mm-hmm. But, switched it to greens because I can eat it and the chickens can eat it and root vegetables. And that's kind of where we are.
What is your favorite part of homesteading where you are? What are the favorite things that you do?
That is a really good question. I do love growing garlic. I'm really good at it. Nothing ever bothers it. You don't have to weed it. You don't have to water it. You don't do anything. And it's like magic. You plant the cloves, and then the next spring and summer, they grow magically into entire bulbs. Like, to me, that is so satisfying. It's like low maintenance. And we use so much garlic. We eat it. We give it to the chickens, so I really like that part of it. And I like our ducks. I just like watching the ducks.
I think we could have answered that one for you.
I know. But it's true. You do have to drop because it becomes a chore. If you're trying to force growing things that aren't good for your environment, or you have animals that don't do well in your environment. I would love those Sebastopol geese, the ones that look like the Swan Lake, with the ballerinas, whatever. But we have a mud season here. And I just know that it would just be so difficult during mud season to keep them clean and pretty. And so if you stop fighting what either grows or, is raised naturally where you are, it's going to make it so much easier and so much more enjoyable. And if you honestly don't like it, don't keep doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think forcing things makes sense.
Everyone under the sun, I guess about 10 years ago, everyone under the sun started getting goats. And goats are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, I love goats. But if you don't want goats, or you don't really like goats, and you're dealing with goats like breaking out all the time and doing what goats do, it's going to be a miserable experience.
Mm-hmm. I almost fell into that, and I'm glad that my husband kind of talked me out of it, because I thought it seemed like a lot of fun, and he really didn't think so much it would be. And I'm glad. I am glad, because, yeah, they just seem like they're just a lot.
The other thing I think is, don't jump on every trend you see, because a trend is just something of somebody else's heart that they put out there, and then somebody else sees it and redoes it. Be your own person, do the things that you love, and, be a little not the norm. Start your own trend at that point and say, well, I'm not going to do this one. I like this. And then somebody else might see that and be inspired by you. But if you follow all the trends, you end up growing radishes and you don't eat them. So It's like you said, do what you love.
On that same subject, figuring out what you like, what advice do you have for people trying to figure out what animals or what breeds to get? Because that's a little more involved than just not liking radishes or not being able to grow pumpkins. You've got animals. So what do you think is the best way for people to evaluate that or figure that out for themselves?
I mean, fortunately, most will do okay in most climates. The middle of the country or places where it doesn't get super cold, super hot, you kind of have your pick, whether you're going for egg color or temperament or just the look of the chicken. There's nothing wrong with that, just being super superficial and wanting pretty chickens, know. But if you live in an area where it gets super, super hot or super, super cold, you really should focus on breeds that are good for that. I mean, most animals, like we've talked about, are cold hardy. So it's more the heat thing. Like if you live in Florida, you're probably going to want to get some breeds that are more heat tolerant. Fortunately, like Meyer Hatchery has a really wonderful website where it puts out all of that information. The heat tolerant breeds tend to be from the Mediterranean. They're the smaller birds, sleeker, kind of light colored. They have big combs, so they can, expel a lot of heat out of their combs. Just doing a little research, because it is hard to keep them cool. And if you have birds that are more suited for hot climates, but fortunately in the cold, I mean, the reverse holds true. You probably don't want chickens with huge combs because you're going to risk frostbite and things like that. But I'd say most people, you kind of have your pick because it's not, really extreme. And ducks do great in both, not to be like team duck all the time, but they do great in the summer because they just swim around in their pool all day. And then in the winter, they don't have combs and wattles that get frostbitten, and they are super adapted to like swimming on half frozen ponds and stuff. So my ducks will just sit out in a snowbank all day.
I mean, there's
completely unfazed.
There's a reason why chickens survive geographically in the spot where they are. They're kind of prone to those areas. So the joys of being mid-Atlantic for Holly and I is we have both. You can look at it two ways, the best of both worlds or the worst of both worlds. So, it's kind of, you kind of have to deal geographically where you are and then go from there. If you have a family, you want somebody that's friendly and easy to be handled by kids and all those different things. Hey, it's just a plug for the Breed Spotlight. Listen to the Breed Spotlight every week.
You're making me think, like Lisa started out in Virginia, but I think in Virginia, even where you were in Virginia, I don't think it's quite as cold there as it gets here in Maryland, where I'm right below the PA line. I think your
Yeah, we
winters
were in Southern Virginia. I mean, it snowed every once in a while, but there wasn't snow on the ground all winter and it wasn't below freezing or whatever. It was mostly the humidity. It was really hot and humid there. And two, you have to think about, again, your setup, where you're putting your coop. Like in Virginia, it was in the shade, it was tucked under trees. Here in Maine, it's in full sun, which is not helpful when we get heat like this. But you want to think about that, the location of your coop, and also the size of it. Bigger is not always better. And I actually wish our coop were smaller because they would have an easier time keeping it warm in the winter.
Yeah.
So you don't want this gigantic coop if you live in a cold climate, or you want to make sure you have the right number of birds for it. You don't get 2 chickens in an 8x10 coop and expect that they can keep themselves warm.
Right.
Exactly. It's all those little details to think about. I think the takeaway is do what you love and do your research for sure. Those two things together will work wonders and you'll be so happy because it won't be a chore. It'll be a labor of love at that point.
Exactly. And you won't have failure after failure after failure. You're not always fighting it. Like, just be deliberate, go with your heart, but also be smart.
Mm-hmm.
What encouraging words would you have for someone who says, I can't even move. Like, I'm in a row house, I have a small backyard, but I can get some chickens or ducks and I can grow some things. Like, what encouraging words would you give to that person?
Oh, definitely do it. I mean, if you just have a patio, you can grow a nice little kitchen garden. I have like a little, 2x3 container, and I grow herbs that I use all summer long in there. You can grow 8 or 10 different varieties of herbs. You can grow potatoes in grow bags. You can grow tomatoes in grow bags. If you have a really tiny yard, you could always go with quail. You can get one of those tiny little starter coops and put a bunch of quail in it. They lay eggs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that where you live should be a detriment. And, if you live like in an apartment where you absolutely can't have animals, I mean, start looking. There are so many older farms that are just being let go and going to ruin because, the older people have died and the kids don't want it. And, there's some really good deals in parts of the country where you could buy a nice little homestead, probably for less than you're renting for.
And you always have a windowsill. So you can even grow an herb or two in a windowsill and use those fresh things. I love that. This brings us to the question of what does the future hold for Lisa Steele? Do you have any projects in the horizons? We have a vault. We can lock it in right here.
Don't tell anybody, but yeah. So I wrote 6 books on raising chickens, ducks, whatever, hatching chicks. And then 4 years ago, I wrote a cookbook. And since then, I've been working on my next cookbook, which finally is going to come out May of 2026. So I'm really excited about that. And, we should have information on pre-ordering and all that pretty soon. It's not an egg cookbook like my first book. I eat more than eggs. Obviously, most people do. So I expanded it to, there's soups and there's salads and sandwiches and some desserts. There are some egg recipes, but I'm really excited about it because it's just good, clean eating, seasonal, lots of produce, nothing super complicated, just really taking advantage of flavors of what's in season, which is just such a great way to eat.
That sounds amazing.
I love it. That's what you love, is to cook. So it's kind of like we see your path as come, and it's like you've kind of gone a little full circle, and then you're like, well, I love to cook, so let's turn around and write some cookbooks. And again, it goes back to the a la carte. Do what you love. Do what you love. Make your story your own. Start those homesteads, even if it's a windowsill. Don't let anybody tell you not to. Why not?
Right. And if you absolutely can't, in a lot of urban areas, there are farmers markets. Go find a farmer's market and buy from local farmers and at least get fresh produce that way. You can always can produce that you've bought, so if you really want to, feel like a homesteader, you can make your own mayonnaise, you can make your own butter. There's all kinds of fun things you couldn't even do in an apartment.
I have a question. What exploded? What can exploded? What were you doing?
Oh, I was canning cherries.
Oh boy. Okay.
Which, I mean, I have a cherry pitter that I bought that I'll probably never use again.
Oh, I use mine every day. I use mine all the time.
I should send it to you. Yeah, I've made one cherry pie in my life, and I tried to can cherries once, and they exploded. And I mean, I have the whole thing. It's all in the garage. I've got the tongs and the thing in the rack and the jars and I was like, never again. Canning and pressure cookers and chainsaws scare me.
Chainsaws.
You got to know your limits.
You got to know your limits. That's absolutely right. Well, as always, it's been a really, really wonderful chat. Our listeners can find you at Fresh Eggs Daily. It's your blog online where you have pretty much everything. Like they can get to all of your stuff from your website.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the hub. Everything's there, but also on social media at Fresh Eggs Daily. And I should say also that I don't want people going to social media or thinking they have to ask questions in forums. Like I answer every email, and I don't want somebody coming to me and saying, 3 days ago, I asked this in the forum and I didn't really get a good answer. Like if you have a problem, email me and I will do my best to help you, whatever the question is about. And I know you guys will too. I would rather have you come straight to me instead of just throw a question out there into the social media universe when you really need help or good advice.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't be afraid to come and ask your questions specifically to someone who can help you. Absolutely.
Well, Lisa, thank you for joining us. We love having you on the show, and we'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great summer.
You too. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
We just want to thank Lisa one more time. One, for always being such a great guest, and for leaving our listeners with lots of things to think about if they want to dip their toe into homesteading. There's no perfect property. There's just the property you have. Go ahead and get started today.
Your property you have is perfect for you, so take advantage of it and do what you want to do. Thanks, Lisa.
Our friends at Good Eggs solved the age-old question of how should I wash my eggs?
They're chicken people just like us who created the original silicone egg scrubber.
Both Chrissy and I use their brush and natural enzyme wash every time.
It's a total game changer.
It makes cleaning eggs so much faster and easier. Plus, they have a lifetime guarantee.
Good Egg is a small family business right here in the U.S., and they donate 10% of all profit directly to folks affected by cancer.
Go check them out at goodeggstuff.co.
That's goodeggstuff.co. Tell them Chrisie&Holly sent you. Okay, are we ready to move on to
cracking the eggs?
Cracking those eggs. Now, we brainstormed for a little while. A lot of times these recipes are you and I brainstorming back and forth. I like this. What about you like this? And this one was one of those that came out of us doing this. This one is sweet and sour fried eggs. Because sometimes you just want fried eggs, but you want a little different take on the fried eggs.
It's the sauce that makes these, obviously.
It's the sauce that makes it for sure. Okay, so let me go through and read through our ingredient list. 4 large eggs, green onion or cilantro for garnish, whatever you'd like. Now for the sauce, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 1.5 tablespoons, that's 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, a half a tablespoon of rice vinegar, 1 teaspoon of sugar. This is optional, but sometimes you need a little sweetness in there.
The sugar, I put the sugar in and I think it's necessary.
1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, or if you like it hot, use 1 tablespoon of chili oil.
Ugh.
We're not hot, spicy people with that stuff. So a 1/4 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
You grab yourself about a medium-sized bowl. And I will say that I doubled this when I made it because I wanted sauce to put on my veggies too.
Yeah.
And, got a few meals out of it. Anyway, in a medium-sized mixing pan, you want to combine the ketchup, the soy sauce, the rice vinegar, sugar, garlic, the paprika or the chili oil, the water, and the cornstarch. Drizzle some oil into a frying pan and heat it to medium-high. Once it's hot, add the eggs and pan fry for 2 or 3 minutes. Now, traditionally, this dish is done with a crispy egg, like it's fried pretty crispy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like it that way, so I fried just until it was starting to get a little crispy on the edges. But you do you. If you like your eggs really crispy, do it. The sauce you mixed up in a bowl, you're going to pour that over those eggs, and you're going to let it simmer for another 2 to 3 minutes or until the sauce thickens. You're going to plate your eggs. I served this with steamed string beans and rice and a couple of other things I can't remember, and just drizzled the sauce over, and it was delicious. You can garnish it with green onion, cilantro, sesame seeds. I had Chinese chives that I put on top. And again, I served it over hot rice. The sauce is just different enough to make it really interesting. It's delicious with the eggs, and it's a pretty quick dinner if you're looking to make something relatively healthy.
Healthy, easy, and, it's just a little different take on what is, just naturally easy to make with an egg, a fried egg. So
right.
try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. Okay, this week's retail therapy is a listener request, and she wanted us to talk about chicken coffee table books. And there's a lot out there. And the thing about chicken coffee table books is there's a lot of them on the thrift book site, and you can get them pretty inexpensively, like $5 a book.
Right. And so, I mean, some of them are older. Some of them, I think one of the oldest is like 2008. And that was Extraordinary Chickens, which was that was actually the first real chicken coffee table book I'd ever seen.
Yeah. Now, we did do a review a year or two ago of literary chickens. I can't speak. Okay, of literary chickens a few years ago. And this book is really beautiful. It sits on my end table, my sofa top table. So it is one that I personally use as a coffee table book, and it's beautiful.
I actually love this request. This is really fun because it's how fun is it to look at like glamour photos of chickens while you're hanging out?
Oh, yeah.
Coffee.
Yes, exactly.
So you said literary chickens. I said extraordinary chickens. You can find all of these on Amazon too. There's one from 2013 that is called The Magnificent Chicken, Portraits of the Fairest Fowl.
Oh, yeah.
You can find that one on Amazon. I believe it has a Wyandotte rooster on the cover. Very, very pretty.
There's one just simply called Cluck, and this you can find as Cluck, a book of happiness for chicken lovers. And it is a bunch of pictures, beautiful pictures of chickens, and kind of just like some literary notes next to them.
Neat.
It's a really good coffee table book for when you want to just look at something different than the TV or your phone, or I'm a big believer. I use books as decorations in my home because if somebody's visiting, sometimes they do pick them up and look at them. And
my third and last pick is called Chickens. This was a 2015 publication from Ernest Goh, Goh. Again, it's like chicken glamour photos. Beautiful, beautiful. And you can get that one on Amazon as well.
Okay, so there's this book called Extra Extraordinary Chickens, written by Stephen Green Armitage, and basically it's more of the same. It's a good book with beautiful pictures of chickens. $8.79. It's a steal. These are some good coffee table books. If you Google them, I mean, you can also, I love this idea, take beautiful pictures of your chickens and make your own photo book and stick it on your coffee table. Make your own coffee table book.
You can, but that's a lot of work. And if you don't want to do it, just, hit up eBay or Mercari or Thrift Books or whatever and see if you can get some of these used.
Yeah, you can definitely, and you can put them all out. Now, here's one that I love that it really doesn't have anything to do with chickens, but I think everybody should own it. It's Dining with the Washingtons. You got me onto that book.
I will concur. It's a beautiful book filled with really, really good recipes.
Yes.
You can get it. I mean, mine came from the gift shop at Mount Vernon. But
mine came from Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon. Yeah. Yep.
Yes. And mine sits in my entertainment center right in my family room. And it's just, we talk about colonial times so much with chickens and stuff. It's just really a nice book, and it should be in everybody's house. So it has nothing to do with chickens, but I just really like it. You get some really good recipes in it.
Absolutely.
Okay. So should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting a beautiful bird that is a great layer and is extremely popular, and that is the Welsummer.
Yes, beautiful.
Sean Warner of Grubly Farms is going to be joining us for a little chat about their 10th anniversary and the state of the grub world.
Oh, yeah. That was fun. That was a fun interview.
Cracking the eggs, we're doing Italian zucchini and bean bake, which sounds but looks amazing.
It's going to be so good.
And Retail Therapy, you and I are reviewing Grubly Farms hemp bedding.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a fun week. So what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese
every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.